Wait a minute. No. This is not going to be yet another stereotypical portrayal of Italy. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Ciao a tutti, è un piacere essere qui oggi e raccontarvi un po' di me e dell'Italia. Sono Alessandra Abate, vengo da Catania, in Sicilia, e sono un'insegnante di italiano e di inglese. Parlo italiano, inglese e spagnolo e ultimo, ma non per importanza, il siciliano. I'm pretty sure everyone could find Italy in a map, but just in case you're a little bit lost, this is where we are, and this is how tiny we are when we compare our country to the vastity that it is the United States. So, who is in charge of Italy? It's the president of the Italian Republic and the Prime Minister of Italy. So at the moment, it is Sergio Mattarella and Giuseppe Conte. So roughly 60 million of people live in Italy, and I think it's a common misconception that all Italians live in Italy. But as you can see here, we have a variety of people who chose Italy as their home, and people from Romania, Albania, Morocco, China, and so on. And I think another big misconception is that everyone in Italy is religious, that is Catholic. But as you can see, 55% of Italians, of people living in Italy, they're nominal Roman Catholic, which means they call themselves Catholic, but they're not practicing the religion. And so really, when you think about it, only 28% of the country is actually Roman Catholic. And some are atheist and some are Muslim, and there are other religions too. How many people speak Italian and where is it spoken? Well, 63 million people around the world have Italian as their first language, while 3 million people have it as their second language. It is the official language of Italy, of course, San Marino, Switzerland, and Vatican City. And I think it's very important to notice how in the United States, 700 million people speak Italian, and that makes the US the third largest population of Italian speakers. And just to get a better idea, you can see here in the map that people speaking Italian, it's not only in Italy, and this is a map of the United States and the states where Italian is spoken. The main focus of this presentation, it's, as you can see from the title, is Italy or Italy's. So I just want to show you that Italy has been a country that has been divided for so long, and each region has its own values, its own culture, and its own language. And just to get a better idea, the unification of Italy was only completed in 1918. So I think it's a recent history for a country that has been around for like so many centuries. And just to get a better idea, this is what Italy, which wasn't Italy back in the day, looked like in 1789. So, you know, very divided, different little states, little kingdoms, I would say. And this is a map of the regional flags. So just so you know, each region, and we have 20, has its own flags, and the flags are just as famous and as displayed as the Italian national one. Another interesting fact that just goes to show that Italy is very peculiar and it's hard to have one Italy is that we have 5 different regions that are autonomous regions with special statute, which were established to take into account cultural differences and protect linguistic minorities. And I'm going to go over the different regions. We have Trentino Alto Adige, And it's not really a region, more like two autonomous self-governing provinces, which are Trento and Bolzano. And why is it so different from other regions of Italy? Well, because it was first under the the Holy Roman Empire, and under the Austrian Empire after, and it was the last region to be part of Italy in 1919. The main languages are Italian and German. They are co-official languages, but there are also a lot of minorities who speak other languages and other dialects. And the typical food is the strangola preti, which is gnocchi made of spinach and bread. Another region is Friuli Venezia Giulia. And fun fact, even though Venezia, which is Venice in Italian, is in the name of the region, Venezia, the city, is not in that region. So it borders with Austria and Slovenia, and you can definitely tell that this is a big influence when we talk about languages spoken in the region. And also when it comes to typical food, we have to thank Friuli Venezia Giulia for tiramisu. Valle d'Aosta, it's the only region which in Italy which is not divided into provinces, but it's divided into communes, which in Italian are called comuni, and we have 74 comuni. The official languages are Italian and French, but there's also a language that is only spoken in Valle d'Aosta, and a lot of people, like half of the population, can speak all three languages. Typical food is fonduta alla valdostana, which is a fondue. Sardinia. Sardinia is an island, and it's actually the second largest island in the Mediterranean Sea. And it's the most interesting region probably because it doesn't have a dialect, but it has its own actual language, which is Sardinian. And so all official papers have to be written both in Italian and in Sardinian. Typical food, it's fregola e frutti di mare, which is pasta with seafood. And last but not least, my own personal lovely home region, which is Sicilia. Sicilia is the largest island in the Mediterranean Sea, and it's home of the Mount Etna, which is the tallest active volcano in Europe, and just one of the most active in the whole world. Today in Sicily, a lot of people, most people, just like me, are bilingual. So we speak both Italian and Sicilian. And Sicilian is a language that shares a lot of vocabulary with Greek, Catalan, French, Arabic, and Spanish. And just to see that it's a little bit different from Italian, I can say I am Alessandra, first in Italian and then in Sicilian. Sono Alessandra, sogno Alessandra. So you can see, you can definitely hear that it's not the same. Typical food, we have a lot of very good food, but for the sake of brevity, I've chosen arancini, which is the fried bowl of rice. Enough with the regions. I'm going to talk about the education system in Italy. As you can see, it's not very different from the American system. So we have a pre-primary school, which is called Scuola dell'Infanzia. And then we have primary, which is called Scuola Primaria. We have lower secondary, which is middle school, and we call it Scuola Secondaria di Primo Grado. And then we have high school, which is called Scuola Secondaria di Secondo Grado. And this is where things are a little bit different, because high school in Italy, it's 5 years instead of 4. And another thing that is very peculiar of Italy is that when you have to go to high school, you have to make a choice. You have to decide what do you want to study in high school. And so, if, for instance, if you choose Liceo Linguistico, you're going to study modern languages. If you choose Liceo Classico, you're going to study humanities. If you pick Liceo Scientifico, you're going to study science. And if you pick Liceo Socio-Psicopedagogico, you're going to study sociology, psychology, and pedagogy. The degree programs are very similar to the ones in the United States. Of course, they carry different names, but bachelor degree is laurea, and the master degree is a laurea magistrale. A PhD, which is called dottorato di ricerca, it's 3 years, so it's a little bit shorter than in the United States. So I've decided to discard fancy food in Italy. Maybe you're already familiar with it, and so I decided to focus instead on the richness of street food in Italy. We have pesce fritto al cono, which is a fried seafood, and you can find this in literally every small town and big cities. As long as it's on the coastline, you can find this street food. We have zeppole, which are originally from Naples, and they're usually filled either with cream or with jelly. Stigiola, it's Sicilian, and it's the meat made out of sheep intestine. So I agree that it's not for everyone. And as the same, we can say of panica meusa, which is also Sicilian, and it's made of chopped veal. Yeah, I know, it's not for everyone. Arancini, we talked about this before. Porchetta, it's originally from Lazio, and it's pork stuffed, seasoned, and slow cooked. We have panelle, which are also Sicilian, and they're made of chickpea. We have piadina, which is a flatbread from Emilia-Romagna. Crema fritta, which is a deep fried custard, and it's from Veneto. We have lampredotto, which is from Florence, and it's cow's stomach. We have olive alla scolana, which is from Le Marche, and it's an olive stuffed with spiced ground meat. And last but not least, we have panzerotto, which it's a very tiny version of a calzone, and it's usually filled with tomato sauce and mozzarella. So I would just say that it's a fancier version of a hot pocket. Enough with food. What I would like to talk now is the differences between Italian American and Italian culture. So oftentimes it's so difficult for Italian American and Italians to find a common ground just because everything is so different. And so, for instance, when we talk about the language of Italian Americans, it's a language that is a mix of the dialect from the region and English. And so it's a combination of both. While the language spoken by Italians, it's usually standard Italian mixed with dialect. The food of Italian Americans, it's Italian in principle, but it's combined, of course, with American food, while food made or eaten by an Italian is more traditional, I would say. The mindset, the way I see it, and it's just, I'm generalizing, not every Italian American is this way, but for me, the way I see it, it's a frozen snapshot of a long lost time, just because they left the country so long ago, it's not very updated. So I would say that the mindset of an Italian is a little bit more updated on contemporary Italian values. The patriotism of an Italian American, it's very different from the one of an Italian. An Italian American, it's proud to be Italian, while as an Italian, it puts the region over the country. So I'm always saying that I'm Sicilian first and Italian after. And finally, the cultural norms. So holidays, traditions, I would say that Italian Americans proudly celebrate them, while Italians typically celebrate them more modestly. And last slide, I started this presentation saying that this wouldn't be the stereotypical portrayal of Italy. So I think it's only fair that I tackle some of the stereotypes and I give you maybe my opinion on it. So number one, Italy is a Roman holiday under the Tuscan sun. Left to say no. Not everything that you see on TV, it's an accurate portrayal of what Italy actually looks like. Two, people only eat pizza and spaghetti. Absolutely not. If you paid any attention to what I've been talking about, we also eat a lot of fried stuff. Three, the sun is always shining. No, I wish, but some of the region, especially in the north, are very cold, cloudy and foggy most of the winter. Number four, Mama rules the roost. Absolutely yes, and nobody's gonna disagree with that. Five, all Italians are dark-haired and or olive-skinned. I think no. Six, Italians never pay their taxes. No, but it is true that there is a history of Italian people not paying their taxes, but it wouldn't be fair to say that it's about every Italian. Seven, all Italians are soccer fans. It's also false. We know a lot about soccer, but not everyone is a soccer fan. Italians are bad drivers. I'm going to say yes. We have a hard time following the rules. So yeah, we don't make the best driver in traffic, especially in big cities. It's insane. Nine, mafia rules. This is a topic that I take very personally. Someone who lives in Sicily. No, mafia does the rules, and please don't think that what you see in the movies is what mafia is actually about. So I would say, instead of watching The Godfather, next time maybe try and watch an actual Italian movie that portrays mafia, and I will recommend The Mafia Only Kills in Summer. It's a very accurate portrayal on mafia in the 90s. So it's a very interesting movie. And last but not least, Italian talk with their hands. Absolutely yes, it's been a struggle to keep my hand in my pocket this whole presentation. So yeah, I guess that's true. Yes, I think that's all. Grazie. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being on the little journey with me. This is my email address should you have any question, or do you want any recommendation in terms of movies, TV show. I'm here for your every need. Thank you. Bye.